Okay, so let's jump into this, everyone. Welcome. My name is Vince, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in to another presentation of Novedge's Best of the Best webinar series. We're really excited today not only to be presenting AutoCAD 2013 Design Suites, but to have Lynn Allen on board presenting for us. Lynn's going to get started with her presentation in just a minute. I just want to go over briefly how things are going to work for about the next hour or so. I'm going to turn it over in a minute here to Christy Landry, who is with Autodesk. She's going to talk briefly about suites and subscriptions through Autodesk and give a brief introduction on Lynn before Lynn starts her presentation. Lynn will go for about 40 minutes or so, and then at the end we'll open it up for a Q&A. During that time, everyone will be in listen-only mode, but please feel free to shoot your questions into the question box. We will be recording this webinar as well, so if you have to leave early for whatever reasons, a recording of this webinar will be made available to you. So having said all that, I want to turn it over to Christy so we can get started right away. Christy, are you there?
I am.
I'm going to switch the screen to you and let you take it from there.
All righty, let's get this thing moving here. All right. Well, thank you very much, and I'm excited to be here as we're going to take a look at the Getting Up to Speed on AutoCAD Design Suite 2013. My name's Christy Landry, Senior Sales Development Manager here at Autodesk, and I am joined by Lynn Allen, and she is, not that she needs an introduction, but I am going to give her one. She is the worldwide Autodesk technical evangelist. You know, Lynn speaks with more than 30,000 users each year, and for the last 15 years has been writing monthly for Cadalyst magazine. Circles and Lines, and she's behind the Tips and Tricks Tuesday they also put out. What you might not know is that Lynn started using AutoCAD in version 1.4. So I can't think of a better person to show us how we can get up to speed on 2013. So before I turn the floor over to Lynn, let me just review just a couple of things here that I'm going to be covering before turning it over. You know, ultimately we want to be sure to show you how you can unleash the power of AutoCAD. AutoCAD's evolved. So we want to make sure that we understand how we can take AutoCAD to the next level. The AutoCAD Design Suite is going to enable us to be able to do that. We're going to take a look at the very newest member of the AutoCAD Design Suite, Raster Design. And, you know, simply put, you know, the AutoCAD Design Suite is really the best way for you to be able to get AutoCAD, and we're going to be taking a look at that today. As AutoCAD continues to evolve and improve, and over the years, you know, we've seen some pretty impressive improvements to both productivity, usability, you know, the ability we have for design capabilities, the flexibility we now see with communication, and with the 20 release of AutoCAD, you know, it continues to deliver on these amazing improvements. And what AutoCAD Design Suite is going to be able to do for you is it's going to take all of those enhancements up to the next level. And you may be asking yourself how that it's able to do that. AutoCAD Design Suite enables you to do more with your AutoCAD software. Because the tools are within AutoCAD and leverage the power of AutoCAD, it enhances what you already know and takes everything up to the next level. As I stated before, the AutoCAD Design Suite really is the best way for you to get AutoCAD because it gives you the power of AutoCAD to capture, create, connect, and even showcase your designs. There are 3 versions of the AutoCAD Design Suite: Standard, Premium, and Ultimate. And each edition is enhanced with products to help you increase your design capabilities, all based around the heart of the suite. And as it sums, the heart is AutoCAD. If you look at, you know, what you might want to leverage with the Standard Edition, the Standard Edition is the core product of the suite, and it's made up of AutoCAD, AutoCAD Raster Design, Sketchbook Designer, Showcase, and Mudbox. The Premium Edition comes with all the tools I just mentioned in Standard, but also adds a level of design visualization, which will enable you to be able to add the Autodesk 3ds Max design to the workflow. And then lastly, the Ultimate Edition adds everything that Standard and Premium have, but also adds surfacing capabilities with Alias Design. But again, at the heart of the AutoCAD Design Suite is AutoCAD, and it enables you to take your AutoCAD up to the next level. And so without any further delay, what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn the floor now over to Lynn. And Lynn, can you get us up to speed today?
Absolutely. I'm kind of waiting there. Oh, there we go. And give me 2 seconds here. 2 seconds, just 2 seconds. All right, here we go. Hopefully that everybody can see my screen now. Thank you so much, Christy. What a nice introduction. What you guys don't know about Christy is that Christy herself used to be a technical presenter, a very, very, very good technical presenter. I was fortunate I used to get to travel with her. So it's kind of a treat for me today to be doing a presentation with her because I haven't had a chance to do that in many years. So thank you so much, Christy. So, of course, I'm going to be talking about AutoCAD 2013, and we're going to be focusing today on the new features inside of AutoCAD 2013. If this was a live audience, I'd ask each of you what release you're on so I had a better idea of who is in my audience, but of course you're all out there in virtual webland, so I can't really do that. So for those of you who've already made the move to AutoCAD 2013, I'm sure there's some of you that have done that. This will hopefully show you some of the new features maybe you haven't had a chance to try yet, so you can try them when you go back to work after this webcast. And for those of you who haven't made the move yet, hopefully this will be educational for you by showing you the new features to see if there's anything compelling enough for you to get you to make that move. And today's really focused on the AutoCAD Design Suite. So I'm also going to show you some of the new features that are in that are part of the suite in that Raster Design has been added in. It's just such a cool product. So I'm going to at least talk a little bit about Raster Design because I think you're all going to want to be part of that. So, great. So I always start off with the user interface. That's just what I do. If you're not comfortable with the user interface, you're not going to like the product. So I like to make you nice and comfy, cozy with the UI at the very beginning. So let's jump over and take a look at some of the changes to the user interface inside of AutoCAD 2013. And I'm sure that Christy will jump on the line if for some reason you can't do things correctly or if I'm going too fast. Right, Christy?
You're good.
Okay, all right. So here we are inside of AutoCAD 2013. And one of the first things that you'll notice after you let it on is that the command line is a little bit different than what it has been in the past. Now, I am a command line user, and I'm sure you probably are at least a little bit. So I don't like changes to be made to the command line. It makes me nervous, but you're going to really like these changes. I've been quite happy. So let me show you. So if you look at the command line, you can see it's kind of in this semi-transparent state. Notice as I move my cursor over it, it shows up. So those of you who are really greedy with your screen real estate, and you know who you are, think about this. You can actually take the command line, you can move it somewhere in a corner of the screen, you can make it even more transparent than it already is right now, so it's completely out of your way, giving you a little bit more drawing room. Now I have it right in the middle of the screen. Of course, you're never going to do that, but I just want to make it easy for you to see how this new updated command line works. All right, so I'm going to just go in the polyline command. You can see I still key everything in, right? Don't be like me, be better than me. And I'm going to do a polyline. I'm just going to start to draw, and you'll see the history shows up above the command line, right? I love this next new feature. Notice how the options in the polyline command are highlighted in blue. Look I can actually grab them with my mouse from the command line. Love, love, love that. That means I don't have to pick up my hand and move my fingers, and I just think that's fantastic. I use that all the time now. So did you see the history? Did you see it kind of vanished away into the abyss? So when you're done with it, you don't need it anymore. It's kind enough to go away, which I love. As I mentioned, you can make it more transparent if you want to. Some of you are really greedy with your screen real estate, will want it to be almost invisible. You'll see as I move my cursor. Look, you can barely see it. Make sure if you do that, you know where it is, right? Don't want to lose it. All right, I'll leave it. Well, it's not going to matter because you're going to see that I know that many of you believe that the good Lord intended the command line to still stay in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, so I want you to see that, of course, that is still an option. And because I'm a rebel. I'm going to keep it down in the lower left-hand corner. I kind of like it that way. But the good news is if I go into any command, look, I can still access the prompts by picking on them. Love, love, love that. Great new feature inside of AutoCAD 2013. And also you'll notice that when you log on to AutoCAD 2013 for the first time, you're going to get this friendly little welcome screen. This welcome screen makes it easy, of course, to start new drawings and open existing ones. I like this recent files list on the left. I actually think this is easier to get to than from inside the application menu. I think the application menu is a little jumpy and hard to get to the right drawing. So I like to use this list. I use it actually quite a bit. There's some videos on what's new inside of AutoCAD 2013, some general videos on AutoCAD. And then in the upper right-hand corner, we have access to the Autodesk Exchange App Store. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. And the fabulous world of Autodesk 360. We'll talk about that later on. And for those of you who don't get in trouble for going to Facebook or Twitter when you're working, you'll see that you have direct access to the AutoCAD Facebook and AutoCAD Twitter page. Now, some of you are not going to like this menu screen to pop up every time you launch AutoCAD. You can turn it off if you want to. That's completely up to you. I kind of like it. I like the welcome screen. So let's see what else. So whether you are in AutoCAD 2012 or 2013, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see that there's this great big X for the Autodesk Exchange App Store. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Okay, I'm not going to grab that. It doesn't like me today. I just had this problem a second ago. All right, sorry about that. Oh, I don't get to show that to you. So I will tell you, though, that that goes to the Autodesk Exchange, and you'll find all of these, well, you will, obviously I can't, but you'll find all these great apps that you can download and bring into AutoCAD to customize your experience with AutoCAD. I'm actually going to go to Featured Apps, and let's see, that's working. So I'm not sure why it won't let me out. I think it's actually a problem with my browser, and it's not a problem with the Autodesk Exchange. So if you take a look at the screen, you'll see that I have some featured apps that pop up automatically. So that kind of keeps me in line with what's new and trending, and you'll actually find that a lot of the apps at Autodesk Exchange are free, and we all love free, right? They don't cost you anything, but they're a nice way to customize your AutoCAD experience. And I'm sure some of you out there use SketchUp. Probably the most popular of all the tools is this great app that you can load on that lets you bring SketchUp models directly into AutoCAD very easily. So definitely take a look at the Autodesk Exchange App Store, and I apologize that it's not playing nicely for me today. A couple of releases ago, Quick View Drawing came out. I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a big fan, but I'm totally a convert now. Inside of AutoCAD 2013, it's been updated so that you can clearly tell what the current drawing is, because wasn't clear at all before. You'll also see this is a great way to get to other open drawings and viewports in the other drawings. In fact, you'll see that you can do a plot, or you can do a publish of another drawing, another layout, another drawing, without even having to go to that layout, which I think is pretty powerful. So I'm going to use it. I'll be using it a lot during my presentation. I want to go over here to this particular drawing. Easy enough. Let's go back to the Home tab on the ribbon. I'm going to go ahead and grab this surface. It happens to be a 3D surface. It could be any 2D object. And as you know, of course, it tells you right away the colors and the layers of that object. I just want you to notice as I move my cursor down the list that it's showing me the changes in the properties as I go down this list, what it would look like. A nice, beautiful property preview. So you don't have to pick it to see what it's going to look like. It's always going to give you a preview. And this works for any of the properties, transparencies, line types, you name it. So really nice new feature inside of AutoCAD 2013. So other than that, not a lot of changes to the UI, which I actually think is kind of a good thing. You don't want too many changes in one release. Just a couple of really good changes, which makes me happy. I hope it makes you happy too. Now, let's jump back over to our PowerPoint. So with AutoCAD 2012, the Associative array was introduced, and I hope that those of you who are on 12 or higher have had a chance to try it. With AutoCAD 2013, we really made these associative arrays even better, easier to work with, more visual, super, super friendly. For those of you who don't know what an associative array is, what the heck I'm talking about, The arrays from AutoCAD 2012 forward are really smart, so that when you finish with the array, whether it's rectangular or polar, or there's a new one called path, you can make edits to the array after the fact. It used to be once an array was done, hey, it was done. Good luck making changes to it. Usually you have to erase the array and start all over, but these new arrays are really smart, so you can change the distance between the rows or the columns, or change the number of rows, etc. after the fact. So I'm going to show that to you inside of AutoCAD 2013, show you what's new. I really, really do like the new associative arrays. All right, so I'm going to jump over to a different drawing. Hopefully you guys are still following along. Let's go over here. That looks good. So this happens to also be 3D, but don't stress, don't worry about it. If you're not using 3D yet, it works exactly the same in 2D. So I'm going to come up here, and we're going to do a rectangular array, right? Am I inside the viewport? Yep, I am inside the viewport. That's always a good thing, that you love it when you go to a viewport and you're not inside it when you try to select objects. So I've highlighted 2 objects that I want to array. I'm going to hit an enter. Oh, I missed that second object. Hold on. So you can tell this is live, right? You saw me pick the second object. It looks like it's highlighted. There we go. For some reason, it didn't want to pick that second object. So you'll see that it immediately gives me a 4x3 array. Now, you probably don't want a 4x3 array, but this is a nice way of seeing what you've got so far, so that you can figure out the changes that you need to make. So you can tell if you're in the right track, right? So right now it's a 4x3, but I want you to see these grips. Here's a grip at the end of all the columns. You want to add some more columns. It's really easy to do that. You zoom out just a little bit. You'll also see that there's a grip at the end of the rows, so you can add more rows. Pretty friendly, pretty easy. Zoom in so you guys get a good shot of this. You'll also see that there's a grip at the end of the rows and the columns. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So you can decide how many rows or columns that you want. I mean, it's so visual and so friendly. So remember, this was the source object. There are grips on the objects next to the source object that let you control the spacing between the columns or the spacing between the rows. So very visual, very friendly. Now that doesn't mean that you can't still use the ribbon and make changes. Maybe I only want 4 columns. Maybe I want them to be 2 units apart. You can still do it manually and on the ribbon, absolutely. But just know that you don't have to anymore, because these grips are so friendly, friendly, friendly. Right now, I should note, I want you to know that you can still hold down the control key and you can edit these objects individually. See, I just deleted that object. There's nothing to keep you from doing that. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. These arrays are like one big object that are easily modified, but you can still edit the individual parts of the array just by using the magical control key. All right? Very, very cool. So I don't have a lot of time to spend with you today, so I'm not going to show you the polar array. We're going to jump over that, but it's the same concept. A lot, nice and visual. By default, it will give you 6 objects. So just so you know, of course, you can change that to suit your needs. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the path array, great new addition that allows you to array objects along a path curve, like a spline, for example. So that's something that was been on the wish list for many, many years. All right. So once again, I'd ask you to raise your hands to see how many of you are using 3D. So I'm just going to assume right now about half of you are probably using 3D. Some nice new improvements inside the land of 3D and AutoCAD with some commands that we're pretty familiar with. If you use AutoCAD 3D, I'm sure you're familiar with the press pull command, and a really nice new command that allows you to extract ISO lines from surfaces. Super easy to use. So let me show them to you. Jump right back over. If you guys are still hanging in there. I'm going to go back to the fabulous quick view drawings. Like I said, I'm totally a convert now, which kind of is nice. And let's go to, come over here to this guy right here. So I'm going to switch over to a different workspace. Hopefully you are using your workspaces. I'm going to switch over to the one that comes with AutoCAD of 3D modeling. That's going to give me all those great 3D tools. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select solid. And there I'll find the press pull command. So let's make sure I'm in the viewport again, right? We've all learned that, press pull. I'm going to go ahead and select this object right here. And you can see how press pull works, right? You can add or remove material. Now, in the past, you could only do press pull on one object at a time, but you'll see there's a multiple option, which of course I'm going to grab from the command line there because I love that new feature as well, that allows me to select multiple areas to use press pull on. Really, really nice. When I hit an enter, you can see now I can extrude all of these if I want to. I'm going to turn off my O-snaps for just a quick second, see if I can get this right today. There we go, perfect. You'll see that it punched a hole through that particular object, all those different holes. So that was pretty easy with press pull. Very popular 3D command. I'm going to switch over to a different view. I always love to use views. It makes it easy for me to get from A to B. Hopefully you're using views as well. Now it used to be that press pull only allowed you to work on objects like this. We had a closed boundary and you would pick inside the boundary. Press pull is just so much easier going now. Press pull allows you to also work with open objects. This is a 3D polyline. It never let me do that before. Let's do multiple, and let's grab the other one as well. So you can see both of those great new features in action. And I'm actually going to give it a value of about, I think 60 should do it. So you can see I was able to extrude both of those 3D polylines, which I never could have done before. And last but not least, my favorite part of press pull. So I'm going to come in here, do a press pull on this surface right here. Give it just a second and pull it out. Okay, so that kind of works the way I thought it would work, no big surprise. Now watch what happens. You can't see me, but I'm holding down my control key. Now watch what happens when I go to extrude that. Can you see that it's tapering? So if you have the control key down, it will take a look at the angle of the original object and it will continue that angle when you use press pull on it. Love that. That's fantastic. Super easy to do as well. All right, I'm going to actually go into the Sheet Set Manager and open up another drawing to show you the last feature of 3D, last 3D feature. I'm not sure how many of you out there do surface modeling. Surface modeling is probably the toughest thing to do in any application, so if you're a surface modeler, you should pat yourself on the back because that means you're probably pretty brilliant. These objects all have surfaces, of course, and I'm going to show you this great new feature that you don't have to be an expert to use called Extract Isolines. Super easy, just select any surface, and can you see the isolines showing up? And I can pick which ones I want it to actually keep. Let's grab one over here, and see I can work off of those isolines, right? I can work off of those objects. Let's change the direction. Really friendly, move on the other way. And it even allows you to draw a spline on the surface, a nice free-form spline, which, you know, that's pretty tricky. Normally that would be pretty hard to do, but super easy with this new Extract Isoline tools up there. So a really nice new feature. I like that feature too. See, doesn't that make 3D look so easy? All those little options there, those commands. If you haven't had a chance to try 3D in AutoCAD, definitely give it a try, all right? Because I see more and more people making the move over to 3D, and it's just so powerful. All right. So also, model documentation tools also has to do with 3D. One of the things that I kind of thought was missing in the past was the ability to easily create the drawing views, the documentation from 3D models. It was kind of tricky, kind of hard to do. It seemed like there was an easier way of doing things, but we just didn't have it inside of AutoCAD. And you know what I'm talking about, right? We can create 3D models, but hey, we still get paid to turn in those 2D drawings. We still need to document them with a top view and a side view and an isometric and add the dimensions and the details and all of that. So I thought that was pretty tricky to do before AutoCAD 2012. But the last couple of releases of AutoCAD have really made it so much easier to do. So I love these. These are, to be honest, my favorite features inside of the last couple of releases of AutoCAD. I just think these are just fabulous tools. So let's take a look. All right, so let's see if I can find my dental chair on the welcome screen here. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, move my cursor. I've been doing so many different drawings and commands. There it is. Perfect. I think that's easier than the application menu, to be honest. I would probably put that on a button just so I could get to those drawings so quickly. So first thing I want you to know is that I picked an object that I thought you guys could all relate to. I like to think we can all relate to a dental chair. Please tell me that that's true. And I got this dental chair. I'm afraid to go try to access my internet. I'll cross my fingers again. But I'm going to go to the Insert tab, And you'll see here Autodesk Seek. All right, so this is the land of free content. We all love free, right? Here you'll find all different types of blocks. You'll find product models and specs, all kinds of good stuff. All right, so I'm going to say I want to find a chair and cross my fingers that it doesn't yell at me again. Ah, see, look at that. Now it's happy. All right, good. So here we are at Autodesk Seek. You don't have to have AutoCAD 2013 to get to Autodesk Seek, but it sure makes it easy if you do. You'll see all different types of chairs here. Look, it says I have 166 chairs, 2D chairs, 3D chairs. You'll find AutoCAD chairs. You'll find DWFs and PDFs and all different types of objects. And this isn't just for the AEC industry. You'll find other types of objects as well. Look at all that. That's an unusual chair, isn't it? It's pretty funny. All right, let me go back over to AutoCAD. But that's where I got my dental chair. You can see it on there. Did you see my dental chair? There it is right there. That's where I got it from. Some fabulous person did that chair. Now I'm using it inside of AutoCAD. I kind of like it. I jazzed it up a little bit. So I finished my model. Obviously, I can't say, here's my chair, go build it. I have to document it, right? I have to make those 2D drawing views. No problem. I'm going to go to the Layout tab. It's completely empty, nothing up my sleeve, right? And the magic happens on this new tab in the ribbon called Layout. The Layout tab is brand new. It has all kinds of great features in it. This is the part I'm going to deal with right here, that Create View. And I'm going to make a base view from Model Space, and that's going to go get my chair. Now, it used to be that you had to bring in the whole chair or nothing, all or nothing, but now there's a select option that allows you to bring in as much of the model as you want, which is a nice addition to 2013. All right, let me drop that guy into place. You know, I'm not too keen on that scale factor. I'm going to make that a little bit, make those a little bit smaller there, 1 to 20. And when I'm happy with the size and I'm happy with the direction, the orientation, you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, it's by default, it's displaying the front, but you can, of course, change that to a bunch of other options. If you're happy with it, you hit an extra enter, and this is where the magic begins. Look at this. Just wherever I place my view, just by the way I move my cursor. Somebody say something? No? All right. Super, super easy. I could add more if I wanted to. I'm not going to, but it just depends on the direction that you move it. Very powerful. I'm going to go ahead and hit an enter, and you'll see that it will convert those objects to wireframe, those views to wireframe, which is probably what you want. You can totally customize that to do what you want it to do. Now, these are so smart. Look at these. They know they need to stay lined up. Don't you just love that? How many times have you had to realign your viewports? Ugh, this is so nice. I can also easily change the scale factor. It was 1 to 20. Maybe I want it, 1 to 30. Maybe I want to make them even smaller. Now you'll notice this guy's the parent, and these children follow. These are the children views. This is the parent view. And whatever you do to the parent is going to affect the children. But that doesn't mean that you can't change the individual views. I can come up here and say, you know what, I really wish that one was 1 to 20. Make it a little bit bigger. And I could edit that view individually too. Maybe I want to change it so that, can you see this right here? It says visible and hidden lines from parent. Can you see that? We're going to override that. Let's make it shaded. There we go. That's kind of cool. So that's just kind of showing you how easy it is to place these very smart views inside of AutoCAD 2013, and they're linked to the model. All right, before I go too much further, I'm going to very quickly add in a few dimensions because we're going to change the model. Not that your designs ever change. I'm pretty sure your designs never change, but just in case they do, you want to see what happens when you come back over to the drawing views, right? All right, I'm going to zoom in really fast. Let's go very quickly. Let's do add some dimensions in here. Let's zoom up on that. Pull that out. I apologize if you're joining us from a foreign country and you're not used to imperial units. This chair was done in feet and inches, and that's why it's showing up that way. All right, so we have some basic dimensions. Let's go back over to our model. All right, no problem. Zoom in. I'm going to make a huge change, all right? It's going to be a great big huge change. Not a good shot. Let's try to be a better shot than that, Lynn. There we go. Just going to pull this out. That's a pretty big change. If I zoom out, you'll see definitely it looks a little bit different. That chair will never fall over now, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to erase the back of the chair. Also a big change. Now I have arms floating in space. Super big change. Of course, you wouldn't really do that. But I think this is going to illustrate my point. Let me go back over to the Layout tab, and you'll see, look at that. It updated each of the views. Yay! It updated the dimensions. Didn't do that in 2012. And you'll also see that it realizes that there's a dimension here that shouldn't be here anymore because it's no longer associated. Lower right-hand corner is the annotation monitor. All I have to do is say delete one disassociated annotation, and it will fix everything up for me. So I just love that. This is so smart and so easy to work with. Love it, love it, love it. So definitely give this a try inside of AutoCAD 2013. Okay, back over to the PowerPoint. So also a big wish list request, especially for me, was the ability to easily create detail and section views. Now, I'm sure almost all of you have made a detail view or a section view from scratch, and tell me that's not one of the most boring things in the world to do. It's super tedious, right? Got to put the hatching in. It's just so tedious. You're going to love this because it's going to be a piece of cake. It's only going to take you a couple of minutes. It's going to make it all pretty for you, and there's lots of options so that you could adhere it to your standards, which is really important. So let's jump over. It looks like I have time. I wasn't sure if I would. It's like I'm going to have enough time getting there. We'll do some detail views and some section views really quickly. All right, so let me go back over to my other sheet set. And let's take a look at, we'll do section views. If we have time, we'll also do a detail view. But you'll get the idea. They both are almost essentially the same thing. So easy to do. It's thinking there. Give it a second to think. The dreaded blue wheel of death. Dun, 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 dun. This is when I need to have a joke or something. Okay, this guy walks into a bar. Look at that. See? It was so afraid I was going to tell you a joke that it's shaped up. As it knows I'm not very good at telling jokes. All right, so once again, we're going to go to the new magical. I'll zoom in on this so you can see a little bit better. But we're going to go to the new Layout tab that has all the awesome tools. And here you'll see section views and detail views, right? So I'm going to do a section view off of this view right here. You'll see there are quite a few options of how I do the section view, what kind of section view it is. I'm going to do a full section view, and it's select the view that I want it to work off of, and then you just have to draw the section line. I'll turn my ortho on so it's nice and straight. How easy is that, right? Now it's thinking about it, and I'm going to go ahead and place that. If I like where it is and I like all the options, you'll see you have quite a few things you can change. In the interest of time, we're just going to say that's fabulous and hit an extra enter. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. You can see that it put a nice label on it. This is all customizable. Lots of flexibility here, but that was pretty darn easy, don't you think? I can come in here to this view, and you'll see that I can easily change the scale factor. It's 1/8 of an inch. Maybe I wish it was 1/16 of an inch, right? Easy to change the scale factor. I'm actually going to put it back. You'll also see that you can edit that view and make a variety of changes. You can change the identifier, and you can say, oh, maybe I don't want you to show the cross-hatching. Lots of options for you there. So, but I also want to show you how easy it is to make changes just via the section line. So I'm going to select the section line. I'm going to say, hey, I want you to go the other direction. Let's flip the direction. Now watch the section view, and you'll see certainly that's exactly what it did. You'll also see that you can easily move this section line anywhere you want it to go. It's just a window into the model. That's why it's so easy to make changes. It's just a different, you're just telling it you want a slightly different view. You can also see that you can add a vertex or a segment. It doesn't have to be a straight line all the way across. A lot of functionality there. Also, of course, very important, there is a new dialog box, the Section View Style Manager, that allows you to, we'll just hit modify here, so you can see all these different options to make sure that your section views adhere to your standards. All right, easy, easy, easy. I don't think it gets much easier than that. So do you think I can do a detail view in like 1 minute? Oh, let's see if we can get it done really quickly here. I want to make sure there's plenty of time for Q&A at the very end. All right, so I'm going to do a detail view off of this section view. How's that? They're so easy. Let's do detail. You'll see you pick between circular and rectangular. I'm going to say circular. Pick the view you want to work from, and then you just basically show it which part you want the detail of. You can see that right there. Show it where you want the detail view to show up, and a final enter, and it will label it. All that's customizable. It looks like it's a little big to me. You could easily change the size of that, of the actual label. All right, so let's see what else we can do. Once again, this is just a window into the model, so you can easily move it around and change the view. You can also come over here and you can say, I wish that the scale factor was a 1/4 inch equals a foot. Make it bigger, whatever makes you happy. Very easy to modify after the fact, along with this edit view option that once again allows you to make some different changes to the view that you already have. Maybe you wish that it were rectangular. Maybe you wish there was a connection line. Maybe you'd like to have it jagged. Lots of options available to you. Along with, of course, the show hatching option, the identifier. And if I go back out to the layout tab, you'll see that there is also, and it won't let me in until I get out of the command, there's also a detail view style manager dialog box, so you can set your detail views up to be exactly like your standards. That was pretty good. I think that was literally a 2-minute detail view. It might be a record. All right, let's go back out to the PowerPoint. You guys still awake out there? Hoping all of you guys are still awake out there. You're not doing your email, right? Maybe you're tweeting. You could tweet that you're having a good time at the seminar. That would be all right. So last but not least, as far as AutoCAD is concerned, is that you have direct access to Autodesk 360. And Autodesk 360 is the Autodesk Cloud platform. It's fabulous. It's wonderful. This is a place that you can store all of your project files. You can store your AutoCAD drawing files. You can store Word docs and Excel spreadsheets. You can store anything that you need for your projects. And you have up to 3 gigabytes of free space on the Autodesk 360 Cloud. So that's pretty nice. Those of you who are on subscription will find that you have 25 gigabytes per seat, actually. So you can kind of decide how you want to allocate that. And there's some, it's a really nice and easy to use Autodesk 360. And I'm going to show you a video since you saw that my access to outside to the web seems to be a little not quite secure today, so not working the way I want it to. So I don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to actually show you a video on how this works. All right. So let's take a look. So you will see that there's a new online tab inside of AutoCAD that gives you access to all the Autodesk 360 tools. You'll also see if you go into any command, like the open command, that asks you to access a file, that you have access to Autodesk 360 from there as well, making it really easy for you to get to your Autodesk 360 files. All right, let's take a look at Autodesk 360 in action. It's kind of hard to visualize it unless you can see it. So here we are. This is my Autodesk 360 account. And you'll see that the first thing it does is kind of shows you what you've been up to. Files you've uploaded, files you've downloaded. Maybe some other people have shared some files with you.
Lynn,
you'll also find
to
that...
interrupt you.
Yeah?
I'm not seeing your screen. I'm seeing a
Oh,
little area.
Yeah.
you don't see the video?
As much as I can visualize, given the amount of detail that you provide, I'm having a little trouble.
No, that's good. I mean, it's not good, so I guess the video, I was kind of worried about the videos showing up. Video's not showing up?
It is not.
All right, so okay, everybody cross your fingers. I'm going to try to do it live. You guys, all of you out there have your fingers crossed, right? All right.
Toes, legs, all of it.
Okay, you can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's see. Thank you. I'm glad you interrupted me, Christine. We don't want everybody watching a big black screen of death going on. All right, so here's the online tab. There's Autodesk 360 I was talking about, and once again, let me just show you. I'm going to go in the open command, and you'll see that there is an option for Autodesk 360. So if you've any files that you've placed up there, you have access to them very easily. All right, let's see. I'm going to go to Autodesk 360. Look, it's calling me names again. It's me. I don't know why it won't let me play today. All right, the rest of you should have no problem. It apparently is just I have a black cloud over me today. So that's all right, because I have faith that the other thing that I'm going to show you will work. So the part that you're missing is the Autodesk 360. Basically, it shows you all the documents up there, and you can access those documents, and you can share those documents, and you can even edit those documents by going into another software program called AutoCAD WS. It's another cloud program. You access it above the cloud. AutoCAD WS, free as well, because we all love free. That allows you to edit AutoCAD drawings online It allows you to share your AutoCAD drawings with other people, even if they don't have AutoCAD. And you can share them and edit them at the same time. It's collaboration at its finest. It's awesome, awesome, awesome. So even though for some reason I have my dark cloud over me, you guys should definitely go take a look at Autodesk 360, all right, and AutoCAD WS. All right, so let me show you hopefully something that is going to work properly. If it doesn't, well, I don't know. I guess it'll be time for early drinking after this presentation. That's this great sync my settings option. I joke that when I travel around, people tell me, oh, you don't need to bring your computer. You can just use ours, right? We have AutoCAD on our system. You can just demo using ours. And I just like cringe and go, no way. There's no way I'm going to use someone else's computer. Do you feel the same way? Haven't you customized AutoCAD to work exactly the way you want it to work? Because I certainly have. How you can save those settings up into the cloud, up into Autodesk 360. These are all the settings that you can save. Everything that's set in options, and that's a lot of settings. Your customization files, like your CUI files, you'll see on here that you can save tool palettes, including groups and template files, a whole bunch of settings that you can save into the cloud. All right, so you're going to have to cross your fingers with me that this is going to work. I'm going to come in here. You'll see Sync My Settings is on. I'm going to do a right click. I'm going to go into Options. And I am going to change the background color to something pretty horrible. For some reason, I always pick green. I blame that on Heidi. She always picks green. All right. And so you can see, you would never work like that, right? But look, yay, upper right-hand corner, your settings are being synced with your Autodesk 360 account. Well, see, that's working. That's good to know. That's all happy. I don't know why I can't get out there, but at least it's working inside of AutoCAD. All right, so I'm going to turn off Sync My Settings. Stop syncing my custom settings. So no, it's no longer syncing with my Autodesk 360 account. All right, let's change the color again. Let's change the color to some other crazy color. A color I affectionately say none of us would know were not for AutoCAD. Cyan, right? Who would know what that color was if we hadn't seen it in AutoCAD? All right, so think about this. In the cloud is green, right? On my desktop is cyan. Right now, I'm going to come up here and say sync my settings. Start syncing my settings, and I'm going to say use my online settings, right? Use my online settings. And look at that. Yay! That worked perfectly. So oh, that part didn't work perfectly. But if I go back inside of AutoCAD, if it lets me go back inside of AutoCAD, let's go back over to our other drawing file. And let's go back over here. Oh, you guys saw it. There it is. All right. I don't know why it keeps being mean to me today, because it's live. You know, if this was not live, it wouldn't do that to me. It just seems to be the way of the world. Well, I'm just actually pretty surprised that my dog hasn't started barking yet. Usually she barks in the middle of live webcasts as well. All right, so I'm going to continue on here. I just have a couple of minutes left. So that kind of concludes the new features inside of AutoCAD 2013. There are more. I just didn't quite have time to show you anymore. And so now I want to show you the newest addition to the AutoCAD Design Suite, and I love this. That is AutoCAD Raster Design. It's like a $2,000 product that they just threw into the AutoCAD Design Suite, which is wonderful. I'm sure that many of you have hard copies of drawings laying around your office somewhere, right? Maybe they were drawn by hand. Maybe they were drawn so long ago in CAD you don't have the files anymore. Maybe they're on a floppy disk and you're not too sure what to do with that. So AutoCAD Raster Design allows you to take scanned images and convert them over to vector. So much better than doing that from scratch, which I bet you a lot of you have done over the years. All right, I'm going to cross my fingers if this video works. Let me know, Christy, if it doesn't work. I'm going to start talking and pretend that it does.
That is working. It's
moving.
What's
up with that? That's so funny. All right, wait. I'm going to make it start again because I was busy chatting. And now I know it works. Yay! All right. So you bring your scanned images in to AutoCAD Raster Design. You'll see Raster Design is just another tab really inside of AutoCAD. And it's really good at cleaning up dust and copy stains. And I've never seen a scan that ever came in at the right angle. So it's great at correcting that. Now, of course, the key feature that you want AutoCAD Raster Design to do is to make it easy for you to convert that raster over to vector, right? So you'll see it's easy to convert these over to AutoCAD objects. Look how easy that is, piece of cake. It also recognizes text, so you can easily convert text over to the current text style inside of AutoCAD. You can clip it, and I love the fact that you can actually snap to the raster image. That's pretty crazy. That's amazing technology. So once again, the key behind this is to be able to convert it over to a raster file so that you can use it inside of AutoCAD, right? So you don't have to draw it from scratch. Really, really, really nice feature. So take a look at AutoCAD Raster Design. I just think it's a great product. And once again, that's part of the AutoCAD Design Suite. On that note, I am going to turn it back over to the lovely Christy, and she's going to take it from here. I need to come in here. Oh, never mind. That was easy.
No problem at all. Thanks so much, Lynn. You know, I love raster. As someone who used to have to go out and measure and confirm that the paper drawings that we had were accurate and then go back and redraw them, I can tell you all the time I would have saved being able to just scan them in and then work from those paper drawings that turned into AutoCAD drawings. So, and you know, you'll be able to take everything that Lynn showed you today with all the advances that AutoCAD 2013 has and even take it to the next level with the AutoCAD Design Suite being the best way for you to find the most value in AutoCAD. And the Autodesk subscription, you know, Lynn showed a little bit about Autodesk 360, but Autodesk subscription gives you more cloud-based computing capabilities. It gives you more capacity, upgrades to the latest releases, online technical support, and flexible licensing privileges. I know that we're all working in a variety of locations, and having that flexibility is absolutely important. And the Autodesk 360, that cloud-based offering that we have, gives us the ability to get access to all of that information anywhere, whether it is what Lynn showed today from the settings from that standpoint, or wanting to make sure that you access your files out in the field and maybe leverage WS on a tablet. You know, Autodesk subscription and 360 you're going to find a lot of value with. And your account representative at Novedge can actually make sure that you take even more advantage and take that investment to new heights. So be sure to ask them about that as well. And so to unleash the power of AutoCAD and take AutoCAD to the next level, you know, hopefully we showed you today how AutoCAD Design Suite enables you to do just that. And whether you're looking for a new seat, if you're looking to take your current solution, or you're looking to upgrade one of your older versions of potentially AutoCAD to the AutoCAD Design Suite, Novedge has promotional pricing right now that you could take advantage of. So there is no better time for you to make the move and to act now, to be sure that you put your product on subscription so that you can get even more capabilities for your investment as well. And I want to be sure to highlight Scott Hester's name. You can contact him at scott@novedge.com. He is the AutoCAD sales representative, and he can help you and tell you about even more offers that they have, where you can get free online training with your Autodesk purchase. Lynn showed us how we can get up to speed today with 2013, and then with their new releases and the training that they could offer you, you could really unleash the power for yourself. And with that, what I'd like to do, Vince, be sure that we have enough time. This is going to end my portion of the presentation. Turn it back to you in case there are any questions that have come in.
Yes, absolutely. We have a couple. The first one we'll get to is from Michael. He was wondering, does 2013 still have the classic AutoCAD workspace option?
Of course it does. Yeah, of course it does. So some of you, I know, when we converted over to the ribbon, for some reason you guys just have not embraced the ribbon. And I know there's still quite a few people out there, I call you guys the rebels, that still want to use AutoCAD Classic. And it's completely there inside of AutoCAD 2013. And, you know, I think you should work the way you want to work. So want to make sure that we make that available to you for as long as possible.
Great. Here's one from Andres. I was wondering, will AutoCAD 2012 open 2013 files? The reason he's asking is he's wondering if everyone in the office has to switch to 2013 at the same time.
So AutoCAD 2013 does have has a change in the DWG file. So the AutoCAD 2013 user would have to do a save as and save it back to 2012. About every 3 years we do change the DWG format, 3 releases or so, just because we've added so many features that we need to make a change to the format. We try not to do it any more than we have to, but this is an example of a year where we did do that. But just do a save as, you can save it back.
Great. I don't know if no one had any other questions at the moment. If anyone wants to shoot them in really quick, we have about
questions. Anybody?
We have about 5 minutes to get to as many as we can. I don't know. I could switch it back over to your screen, Lynn, if you wanted to go over one last thing really briefly that you might have had to skip on.
Okay. Well, actually, I don't have it on this presentation. You're killing me, man.
Sorry.
Killing me small.
Oh, don't worry. Here's one from Matthew. On the Insert tab where you can insert customer-made blocks, can you import vendor drawings like electrical blocks?
So I'm sorry. I was like, could you ask me that question again?
Yeah, don't worry. It's Matthew. He's asking, on the Insert tab where you can insert customer-made blocks, can you import vendor drawings like electrical blocks?
Well, you can do that anyway, right? You can just go on the insert command and you can insert drawing files from anybody. But as far as Seek is concerned, I mean, that just takes you to a specific, I'm going to actually put this back up on the screen. I want to make sure you guys have something decent to look at. But as far as Seek is concerned, it's only with content that's been placed up there. And it should also be noted that anybody can put content up on Autodesk Seek. If you have some great content that you want to share, you can certainly put it up there. But you can certainly insert anybody's DWG file into your AutoCAD drawing files at any point in time. So that's not a problem. That's been there for years and years and years. Excellent. Hopefully I answered that question. Hopefully I understood that question. If I didn't, just maybe retype it in so that I get it.
Yeah, I think that's what they meant when they asked it. So you did good there. Here's one from David. He's wondering, is it possible to embed user data into 3D objects? Yeah, well, I suppose it depends what type of user data, but you can certainly embed information into 3D objects. Sure, absolutely. 3D objects are, they're 2D objects with a Z value, so pretty much anything you do to a 2D object, you can also do to a 3D object. Great. Here's one from Sergio. He's wondering, can I modify the wipeout vertex in AutoCAD 2013? I can modify the wipeout after I create it. I guess the vertices, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what they mean. Yeah, you can. So the answer is yes. I should mention that there's a nice new feature inside of AutoCAD 2013 that allows you a new wipeout frame system variable that you'll actually find in the wipeout command that allows you to display the wipeout frame, which is what you need to have on the screen in order to edit, right? So it will display the frame, but it will not plot the frame, which is a really nice feature because most of us turn the frame on to edit, like you can go in and edit the vertices, and then you need to turn it off again when you go to plot. So a nice new feature, wipeout frame, was added into AutoCAD 2013. Set to 2, it will view, but it will not plot. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, no, I think that's clear. So yeah, I don't know if anyone wanted to shoot in a quick question really quick. We can get to one last question. I'm gonna just talk about a couple of the features that I didn't get to. You won't see it on the screen, but I can discuss a couple of them. You'll find that there's strike through text is a new feature, so that if you're in MText or if you're in a table, if you're dimensioning, you can add in the strike through. The line that goes through the text. That's a nice feature that was added in. What else was added in? A new leader to front tool that allows you to easily take leaders to the top of the display order with just a simple click. It's part of the text to front command.
Let's see. Does anybody, are there any more questions while I'm trying to think about what else?
Here,
Little features that are in there that, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get to one from John here. He was wondering, is all this the same for AutoCAD 2013 for Mac as well as the Raster for Mac?
Oh, Raster Design for Mac?
Mm-hmm.
That is a good question. Christy, do you know if Raster I don't think Raster Design works on the Mac platform.
There is not a Mac version, so the
I don't think
AutoCAD
it
Design
does.
Suite is a PC version, but the AutoCAD for the Mac product, to my understanding, has all of the features that the PC version has for 2013.
Yeah, so the new features that were added into AutoCAD 2013 should be the same also on the Mac. But as Christy mentioned, if the AutoCAD Design Suite is pretty well focused on the PC, on the Windows version. So that's just something to keep in mind. There was a nice change to the licensing of AutoCAD for Mac, is that you also will have the ability to install AutoCAD running on Windows as well, and you can technically, legally go between the two in AutoCAD 2013. So if there's something you prefer to do on the Mac version, you do it in the Mac version. If there's something you prefer to do on the PC version, you can jump over to, via Boot Camp or however you choose to get there, and you can access the PC version as well, the Windows version, which is a nice addition to AutoCAD 2013. But that is not the design suite per se, so not quite exactly relevant to this seminar, but hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think for time's sake, I think we'll halt the Q&A there. I just want to turn the screen over to me really quickly and give a brief send-off before we get going, or we take off here.
Sounds good. Thank you, everybody, from my standpoint, because he's going to end it. Thanks for joining us and putting up with my technical difficulties. I really appreciate it.
Yes, so no, thank you, Lynn, first of all. Tremendous presentation. I'm sure everyone out there enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Christy, as well, for providing us with some insights into the benefits of suites and subscriptions. The last thing I wanted to mention before we get going here was a little, I don't have the slide, I apologize for that, but online community we've created here at Novedge called WikiCAD. It's essentially for all CAD users to come and collaborate with other CAD users. We have a lot of information, tutorials, news, and trends, all based around AutoCAD available on the site. It's free to join, and this webinar will be made available online there, so you can view it as many times as you want. Additionally, if anyone wants to view the webinar again, we'll be emailing everyone a link to the webinar's recording on YouTube and Vimeo. So check your inboxes for that email. It should be coming within the next 24 hours. So again, having said all that, I want to thank Lynn and thank Christy, everyone here at Novedge. We want to thank everyone for attending. I don't know if either of you had something to say really quick before we signed off.
Just that the promotional pricing that you have right now is exclusive to you guys, and so I just want to encourage you, if you saw some advantages today, be sure to contact Novedge.
Yes, definitely. I put my colleague's email up there, Scott@Novedge. Don't hesitate to email him. He would love to talk to you about pricing or any promotional discounts that are running right now. He's also willing to talk about anything related to other Autodesk products, not just AutoCAD. He handles anything from the suites to Revit to Inventor to Raster, so definitely shoot him an email if you're interested in anything. And last thing before we go, that website again is wikicad.org. I apologize for not having the slide on there earlier. This was just a lapse in my judgment. So again, thank you everyone for attending, and thank you Lynn and Christy.
My pleasure.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Great. Thanks for the invitation.